guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today we are going to be talking about Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4 practically picks up off from Toy Story 3. I don't know how long in between, but Bonnie's still like very similar, the same age. She's going into kindergarten, and she's very, very nervous.
Yeah, it's picking up probably a couple years after the third film, and you're seeing Woody kind of being, forgotten. He's being the toy that's played with less, and you're seeing the other toys get the focal point. And then you have the introduction of Forky.
Yeah, Forky. We made our own very Forky. I was very hesitant about this character in the movie, but he's actually one of the best parts in the movie, I feel like. He adds a sense of humor.
Yeah, it's weird because when I first saw the trailers and the marketing for this movie, and I first even heard that it was going to be made, I was like, how are they going to make another Toy Story? The third one had such a good ending. And then I saw Forky, I'm like, oh god, is this like some gimmicky little kid thing with like a goofy character? But he has a lot of heart for a goofy little character. It's one of my favorite characters in the movie, actually.
Yeah, I was very anxious about how this movie's going to turn out because Toy Story 3, this ended it perfect, and I was, the whole trilogy of those three films is ended, and I was very worried because most trilogy films, they try to do another movie after, and they're just not that good. And I can tell you, this movie's really good, and you should definitely go see it.
Yeah, it definitely knocks it out of the park. It's so good. I think it's just as good as the first three. Like I said, there's a lot of heart in this movie, and you have kind of some big questions being asked in this movie. You're having the purpose of what a toy is. You even have kind of questions of like a conscience of what a toy is. So there's a lot here, not just for kids, but for adults.
Bo Peep's brought back in this one, and we haven't seen her in a little bit, and you figure out where she's been, and Woody, finally gets to see her again. It's a really good, moment between the two characters.
Yeah, the movie does pay off some of those moments that from watching the earlier Toy Story films as adults, you're like, oh, it's really cool to see these characters back together, and they really pull on the heartstrings with the relationships with some of these characters, and I like that. I like that they realize that this is a franchise that people like us have seen since we were little kids, and they took that into account. And you could also see a lot of other little kids that are new to the franchise really enjoying it. There were tons of kids in our theater.
Yeah, they're laughing, and you can just tell they're really enjoying the movie. It was also very interesting in this movie because they had some horror elements in it, and it was kind of creepy, but it worked. It's not super scary to scare any little kids, but you can tell they took different elements.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like if you saw in the trailers of the ventriloquist dummies, and they're creepy. They're creepy in the movie. And then the main villain, Gabby, is a really interesting villain. I thought she had the level of Lotso Huggenbear when you're conflicted about how you even feel about her, and at the end it kind of has almost it has that same feel as Lotso Huggenbear.
Yeah, the only gripe I have with it, there's not enough Woody and Buzz moments.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Forky, he's struggling, but he's surviving. I have to mention, though, there's not a lot of Woody and Buzz moments in this movie, which, the other three, that's the main duo, and I feel like, that was the one thing that was missing. It's very, very hard to nitpick this movie because I honestly think it's a great, great movie.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best Pixar films. Like I said, I think it's just as good as any of the first three in different ways, and like Noah said, I think the only gripe, if I was forced to find one in it, is that some of those classic toy characters that I remember as a little kid aren't put in the spotlight as much as they were in the first few films, and I get that's a personal preference. It's not like that's a bad part of the movie, but it's something I would have liked to see just a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little more. Other than that, it's like I've already said multiple times, this is a really good movie. I'm really impressed with Pixar putting out Toy Story 4. It's still very relevant, and it's just I want to go out and buy a Woody and Buzz again.
Yeah,
so,
it brings those vibes back. And then the one last thing I want to mention is just the visuals. It's incredible.
Yes.
Pixar, from the first Toy Story film, just to continue, we're always pushing the envelope. And this does such a good job of having that photorealism mixed with the Pixar look. When there's moments where, at the beginning of the film, there's a scene in the rain, and then it deals with the RC car in the very beginning of the film. It looks so good. Pixar was just showing off in the beginning. They're like, this is how photorealistic we make this
Yes, they
look.
were definitely showing off. There's also a scene underneath a car, and you see the raindrops and how it's just falling off the car. It's so detailed. You're like, this is real. This is not a digital effect at all.
It's crazy. The lighting, the textures, everything about it. And going back and watching the first Toy Story and just seeing this technology progress to where it is now, it's just crazy. And it's just a testament to how well this franchise has held up and lasted through the years, that people still watch that first one, and you can watch this one, and I can enjoy it just as much, even though one looks like it was made that long ago.
Yeah.
It's just a really great franchise, and this is a really, really good ending to the whole story for me, at least.
Yeah. So I would give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know how to even rank all the Toy Stories. I think they're just a whole great for some movies.
Yeah, they're great. And I would say if I were to rate this movie, I would probably give it a 9.75 out of 10. It's hard for me to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm sure there's ways that I could justify giving it a 10 out of 10, but it's just excellent. Like I said, if you love Toy Story, definitely go see it. If you like Pixar, animation, Disney, it has some callbacks, some moments to other Pixar films if you catch them. It just has a lot to love. And if you love this stuff, you'll love this movie.
Yeah, if you love toys, you're going to love it too.
And if you love,
Yeah.
it's a great movie. Definitely recommend it. Let us know what you thought about Toy Story 4. Do you feel like it's as good as we think it is? Comment down below, and see you guys next time.
Bye.